afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PBTV. I'm Stu. It's Friday afternoon, so we thought we'd do something slightly different. So I've bought two different things out with them today. They look quite similar, but they are very different with some really cool features between them. So we've got the Raven R9 and we have the VORSK VM9 OSIRIS. We'll go through them both, see what where they're going to sit on your loadout, what they're going to be good for. Various things like that. If you have any questions at all, if you've been waiting for these to come out, you can grab them now. Any questions at all, please drop them down below. Any specific feature you want us to look at, we will flash it up on screen and make sure we get to your question as quickly as possible. So we will cover the Raven first because it is probably something similar to what most of you have seen before with the sort of B9 style platforms, things like the Rafka from various different games and everything like that. Very, very popular when it comes to specific loadouts and looking at like COD and things like that. These are always sat on people's hips. Super reliable, especially if you're looking at like a SEAL team loadout or something like that. DevGru loadout, all this kind of stuff. They are a very popular platform that match very well with a lot of different kits. So we'll go with the R9 first, which is the sort of more standard and common looking one. I'll start at the front and work its way back. Anything you want to know, please just ask and we'll get on it straight away. As always, with the Raven and the VORSK, it is a very, very common aspect. This does have a threaded barrel. So it is a 12mm female thread on the front here. So you will need an adapter. It goes from 12 to a 14mm, so that you will then have a 14mm counterclockwise thread on the front of it, meaning you can stick any of your sort of tracer units, anything like that, be sneaky beaky and go super stealth with it if you want. Tracer units, absolutely fine. Be aware when you're using tracer units, stick to the smaller ones, things like the Spitfire, like that. If you put anything large on here and add a lot of weight, just any pistol in general, any weight applied to the barrel can diminish the amount of rounds you're going to get out of a mag. So keep it lightweight and keep it simple, and it will run absolutely perfectly. Coming back from that, we do have a rail on this one. Various different B9 platforms have rails. Some do, some don't. So again, if you want to stick a torch on the front of this, they do look really neat and tidy with torches on, especially if it's a sort of flush finish at the front. It does have the rail slot in there. So some of the rail systems, it just slides on and holds on. This does have the rail slot in there, so you can lock it in place and make sure it doesn't move anywhere. Sometimes when you're activating the torch or anything, they can shift, but having that little slot there means it's much more secure. Coming to the top, you can see the slide is completely open. It's one of the aspects of the B9 platform. All this slide is missing, so it does make the slide quite lightweight. Cycles really well, especially with something you just want to draw, put a round down range, and just be confident this thing is going to function very, very well. Back of the slide, we do have serrations, meaning it's very easy to rack that first round in or rack it back when you're putting a new mag in there. And then behind that, we do have some of the controls. A lot of the controls on this, or the essential controls, are ambidextrous. So again, the slide release is only on the left-hand side, so that's the only limitation. Safety and decocking lever on this. So both sides of this activate the safety and decock the platform. It is a two-stage trigger, so once you decock this, the hammer will go forward, you can put it away. When you get it out, you will have to remove the safety, otherwise the trigger just goes floppy and it just wobbles around. What's the trigger like? And how well does it shoot? So I'm not a massive sort of B9 fan. I'm not usually a fan of this type of platform. The trigger pull can be quite long on some of them, but with this being a two-stage trigger, once the hammer goes back and it's racked, the trigger does come back far enough to be quite an effective trigger pull. When you draw it and the hammer is forward, it is a very, very long trigger pull, but that's just inherent with a decocking system and the B9 platform. It's not anything specific. Once you've had a few goes with it and you understand how it works, it is absolutely fine. Quite easy to feel that reset and get another round down. And again, really, really going to be very, very accurate. You've got white dotted sights on the front and back, so you've got a white dot single pin at the front and then a castellation double dot at the back, so line them 3 dots up and this is going to put around exactly where you want it. Adding to that, internally, you have 117mm length in a barrel, and it is a tight bore as well. So on a essentially budget platform, having a tight bore is it is becoming slightly more common, but on something like this, on a pistol, it is definitely not commonplace. So having a tight bore is very, very good. What that allows is you're going to get a little bit more FPS out of a shorter barrel. So this thing's coming out about 305 FPS on our chrono. And again, you're not really trying to engage at vast distances. This is something you're going to have on your hip. Your primary goes dry. You're going to have the confidence to pull this out, put a round down range, and know that you're going to hit something over 10, 15, 20 meters. Anything further than that, and you should be reloading your primary, getting in cover, and just using that. But having that tight bore, you know you could probably risk it and just try and take that cheeky shot. Snipers, anything like that, this is going to be absolutely awesome. You're going to absolutely love it. It is Paul Eastwood. What's the construction? Metal or polymer? One of our regular viewers. So it is a mix. So slide, barrel, controls, low receiver, everything like that is metal. The actual grip itself is plastic, has the Raven logo in there. And again, when it comes to the mag is all metal as well, except the base plate, which is plastic. So everything, basically everything is either aluminium or steel, or the pistol grip itself, which is plastic. Again, various different ones that you can get with this. When it comes to the colour as well, I've brought the tan one out here and the black Osiris. Again, with Raven and VORSK, there is a plethora of different colours that you can choose from, whereas it's all black, green, gold, brushed aluminium, all these different ones, and it is very, very cool. Again, accuracy-wise, you do have an adjustable hop in here, so you take the slide off. There's a little gear to adjust. Just tweak that a little bit, and again, you're good to go. And once this is set, it's not going to shift. It's going to be really, really cool. So this is the Raven R9 safe and semi-auto B9 sort of platform. Very, very cool. I know some people have, they are a sort of almost cult classic now, whether or not it's sort of a police loadout, a DevGru loadout, SEAL team loadout, Lone Survivor loadout, anything like that. This is definitely something to look at. But we will now drop onto the sort of new kid on the block, a complete sort of reimagining. The history on this is really, really interesting. If you look at the description that we've put together on this, this was, I believe, a potential sort of military platform that never got created. So it's been put together by VORSK to actually become a reality in an airsoft platform. And again, if you've never seen or heard of the Osiris before, by all means ask any questions and we'll try and get to you as quickly as possible. I'll cover from front to back as normal. Love the VORSK pistols. Are they metal? Yes, so very similar to the R9, the Osiris is in a very similar configuration. So slide all metal, low receiver all metal, controls and everything like that, steel parts, so all the moving parts are going to be with you for a long time and very, very robust. The pistol grip, again, has the side mounted plastic grips. Really good serration style grips on this, so it's not serrated in one direction. It is the knurling style, so when you've got this gripped pair of gloves, this is going absolutely nowhere. Very similar to the R9, the Osiris does have a 12mm female thread, so again, same as that, you can fit an adapter, change it to a 40mm counterclockwise thread and fit any adapter that you want on there. With this one, because this one is full auto capable, sticking something on the front of this, it's going to add weight to it. It's not really going to be a primary platform. I'd have this as a very, very reliable sort of panic button. So if you're a sniper, a DMR player, someone who has a minimum engagement range, this is probably an absolutely awesome choice to stick on your hip. If someone comes in that minimum engagement range, you pull this out, stick it on the fun switch, and they're going to go away really, really quickly. So with that being said, putting trace units, adapters, anything on the front of this, you are going to add weight to it. It's going to force that barrel down. You're going to get less rounds out of it. If you want to use this as a primary, by all means, you're definitely going to have fun with it, but just be aware that if you're putting trace units on, you're going to get a few less rounds out of the mag. ODST, do they have a decocker? Yes, so what we mean by a decocker is the safety system on this puts the hammer forward as well as putting it on safe. Some decockers just drop it forward and that's it. This one, when you put it all the way down, into the safe position like it is now, the hammer will drop forward and the trigger goes sort of inoperable, so it pulls it all the way back. When you put it all the way up, you will then have a two-stage trigger, so pulling the trigger back will pull the hammer back and fire around, and then when it racks, you go into the single-stage trigger. So it's a very clever way of keeping a weapon safe in multiple different ways. So real steel-wise, you can't knock the hammer forward, it can't be broken forward, all that kind of stuff. So the full auto system on this has been put onto the safety system, onto the decocking lever. So in its current position, as you can see, pointing straight forward, it is in semi-auto. And you will notice that the right-hand side lever looks slightly different. So it's another way of IDing that this is a full auto platform. Putting it down to the halfway point, and it does click into a little position, that is now in full auto. You pull the trigger, and it is going to dump its mag in a very impressive, very rapid rate of knots. What you will also notice about the slide is, compared to the B9, this is a fully reinforced, full metal construction of a top slide. Again, this goes back to the R&D of the original platform, making sure it's super strong, super robust, and can handle that recoil of this chucking out 25 plus rounds, because the magazines, as we've talked before, full metal magazine with the plastic base plate does hold 25 rounds, so 25 plus 1, this thing needs to be able to make sure it can hold on to that full auto system. Can you use black gas in both pistols during cold periods? Paul Eastwood again on Facebook. Yes, absolutely. We tested these on the VORSK V12, so one of the most powerful gases out there, and again, they were totally fine, functioned perfectly well. And again, we were getting, I think it was 280 FPS out of the OSIRIS. Again, you do have a slightly heavier slide, but you've got that full auto system, so it is a sort of pro and con side of it. It's just, but again, we have quite a cold studio here, so I do believe taking these outside in a sort of ambient temperature, sort of 10-ish degrees, I say ambient for the UK, when it's not raining or freezing, you're probably going to be knocking on doors 290, 300 FPS with a pistol that can dump 25 rounds in a rapid rate of knots. You're definitely going to use this as a really cool backup for a sniper or someone that has that minimum engagement distance. Fish05, hey, love the content, Patrol Base, thank you very much. How does the full auto feel on the VORSK? We tested it with the VORSK V12, and again, a lot of the times with full auto pistols, you have that sort of degas and it doesn't quite get all the way through. It's quite consistent getting through the 25 round magazine, so again, that sort of backup panic button style system, that you want to draw something, pointing down range and get rid of what's in front of you, this is definitely something to look at. Again, with the reinforced slide, it's going to give that longevity to it. I know in the past that some full auto systems have just not passed the test of time with the sort of weaker slides and everything like that. This has been specifically designed to run on full auto with this sort of wider slide and just be very, very consistent with it. Internally, again, we've got a very similar system to the Raven. We do have a 117mm in a barrel, 6.03. So again, that full auto, as much as this is going to be bouncing around and throwing BBs everywhere, they are going to go in the direction that you are pointing it. And again, it does have the semi-auto. So if you are indoors or you go to a CQB site, doesn't mean that you have to leave this in your case. You can stick it on that semi-auto and it still be absolutely functional. Weight-wise, it is a little bit heavier than the Raven. Again, that's down to the reinforcement and making sure that this thing lasts. So this thing's coming about 630-ish grams, whereas the Raven is about 604. So there's a chunk of metal on this top slide, and again, it's been put in there specifically designed for that full auto system. Is there an extended mag available for the VORSK? I will have to double check. I know the mags are compatible with each other, but I'm not aware of a Raven or a OSIRIS extended mag. We will double check, and if there are, we'll probably put a little bundle together to make sure that you can have a chunk of fun with extended mags and just start dumping as many BBs downrange as you can. Again, with the sort of where I see this in being in its sort of prime location is snipers, DMRs, people that want this as a again, that panic button thing. Leave this on full auto. Someone comes in that engagement range, you can't shoot them with your primary. It's overpowered. You've got to be within 10-20 meters, etc. You can draw this, put some rounds down range, even if they're behind cover, behind a bush, the full auto will get through that cover. Obviously not through walls or anything like that, but if you're in a woodland, it's just one of them consistency things. Very similar to the B9 as well. You do have the hop system in here, gear style hop. But yeah, really, really looking forward to people getting these on the field, especially the full auto variant. There's not many, if any, specifically designed full auto systems out there. There are some that have just been converted to be able to do it, but again, you can see that the reinforcement and just the design behind it is to make sure this thing can last, survive, and be consistent with that rate of fire that this thing's going to have. As always, if we have missed your question, I do apologise, but if there is anything that you want us to cover or any further questions you want on the Osiris, by all means drop us a message on Instagram and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. But that has been the Raven R9 and the Osiris VM9, so from VORSK and from Raven. We look forward to people getting these in their hands, getting them out on the fields and telling us how they feel about them. But that's everything today. It is Friday, so it is the weekend. We hope that you can get out shooting. I know a group of us are going to get out and go and visit HQ this weekend, so we might have some really cool stuff to show you on Monday. But if that's everything for today, I'll catch you again at 4 p.m. On Monday afternoon. But until then, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.